athletes, but of our team, as we call them, the team behind the team, and everybody has just really enjoyed our time here thus far and have felt incredibly welcome. So thank you to the organizing committee. It's great to be here. As you can imagine, we have a crew of Team USA athletes who have been waiting for this, many of them, for many years. We're excited, we're ready. The USOPC is incredibly proud, not only of the team that we've come with, but of the level of support that team is receiving from our organization, deeper and broader, I think, than ever. And we're excited about that, and we feel as though the complexity of the logistical environment actually has proven to be a fun challenge for us in working with our peers internationally, but also in preparing ourselves for these games across a number of different clusters and the diversity of sport and disciplines. So we're feeling ready, prepared. The support is in place, whether that's logistical support, medical support, training and performance support, and certainly, everything on down to sports medicine and nutrition. And as you can imagine, we're doing everything we can to rally the cries from back home of the American public, and we're feeling the love from them too. The excitement in our country continues to grow. The anticipation is there, and we're ready for a really, really great games and are happy to be here. So thank you all for being here, and let me pass it to our chair and President Jean Sykes.
Thanks, Sarah. I guess I got this on, that's good. It's nice to be here. It's a great thing to see all of you and have a chance to talk to you about what we're seeing and experiencing here. Our Italian hosts are about to demonstrate why they are such gracious people and why so many people travel to Italy for their vacations, because this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And in particular, when you see the mountains and the mountain resorts where many of these events will be conducted, you'll understand why the athletes are so enthusiastic about competing in Italy, including competing in places where many of them have competed for years and years in World Cups. And so the excitement beyond Milan, but in the mountains in what the Italians call the Dolomiti, I think will really be palpable and something that I think will make these games magical and very memorable. I spent the last couple of days participating in the IOC session, which was a two-day process, sort of an elaborate process that happens before every one of the Olympic Games. That was a good opportunity for all of the almost 110 IOC members from all around the world to be with each other. The IOC session also included reports from all of the future hosts, including our two future hosts, LA 28 and Utah 2034, and I introduced both of those sessions. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure I did, and we did through both the presentations by the hosts, was to remind my fellow IOC members from around the world that in a period when there's a lot of geopolitical turmoil and lots of questions about how long-term relationships are valued or not valued in the international environment, that all of us in the United States who work on the Olympic and Paralympic Games and all the efforts around it are a community who have been in this and our predecessors behind us for well over a century. We're dedicated to it, we're professionals, we're serious about it, and we conduct ourselves as partners with all of the other people around the world who do this for their professional lives. We take our responsibilities very seriously, and we're their partners. And I think that was very reassuring. I think the United States is very important to the future of the Olympic movement and the Paralympic movement. We're not just the most valuable commercial country. The investment we make in the quality of our teams, the freedom we give our athletes to experience the greatest opportunity to compete on the world's biggest and most important athletic stage makes us unique. And not unique in that others don't do it, but nobody does it with the same intensity and commitment that the United States of America does. And we try to conduct ourselves with respect and humility when we're dealing with the entire world, because that's the appropriate way to behave when we're in the Olympic and Paralympic movement. That message and that tone is something that we feel Team USA really needs to provide to the world. That's how we want to conduct ourselves on the world stage. And so we're very committed to that, and I'm quite proud to be part of that effort with my colleagues up here and honestly all of Team USA. So it's the thing that gives us great excitement and pride, and honestly, we have to step back and recognize how important this is to the entire world and the role that we play in order to really gather the full impact of this opportunity. So thank you again.
Okay, thanks, Gene. Thanks, Sarah. I also want to thank and applaud the Milano Cortina organizing committee. They've been gracious hosts. It's an exceptional sport culture here in Italy, and we're really proud to be a part of it. As I mentioned before, we have 232 athletes will be competing. It'll be our largest team in our history. And so we're excited about seeing athletes compete. And we have a robust team with veterans, household names. We have 99 returning Olympians, 33 returning medalists. We also have a lot of newcomers and ones that will make their name for themselves here at the Games. We've made significant progress in winter sport over the last quad, and we're seeing that. We had over 100 World Cup medalists this last season across all disciplines in sports. So we're now seeing across Team USA the depth and breadth of the team has grown over the last 4 years. Part of that is because of our really strong relationships with our national federations. We've collaborated closely with them. I'd say that it's unprecedented in the amount of collaboration and work that we've done and that they've done together. And we're seeing that really work. They're sharing knowledge, they're sharing information, and we're seeing that help Team USA across all sports and all disciplines. I do want to give a special shout out to what we call the team behind the team, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee staff. We work year-round to support Team USA to help make sure that athletes are set up for success in competition and also in their well-being and off the field of play. It's something we take great pride in, and so our staff is here, ready to operate at a high level, and we feel like it's a competitive advantage for Team USA. So I'm thrilled to be here, honored to be the chef de mission here in Milano Cortina, and thank you everyone for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole, responsible for Security and Athlete Services. I just wanted to share that our top priority is ensuring that Team USA athletes are safe, feel supported, and have a really good games experience. So I do want to say thank you and send a shout out to MECO 26, also our Italian law enforcement counterparts and Department of State diplomatic security that have been helping us plan for the games for over 2 to 3 years now. More importantly, the athletes feel safe and they feel confident, and we're looking forward to opening ceremonies tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thanks all. So we can open up the room to questions. Please raise your hand. There's mic runners on both sides. We just ask that you identify yourself and your outlet, and we'll hopefully hold follow-ups for a second run. So, Christine Brennan right here in the front. They're coming. Oh. Here they come. Thank you. Right here in the front.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, John. Thanks to all of you for the time. I'm not sure if this question is for you, Sarah, or Jean, but I know you're focused totally on the Winter Games, obviously, as you've just said, and we all are here too, but we cannot ignore the news and the world around us, and I know you're very closely in collaboration with LA 28. And I'm sure you're aware of the news that Chair Casey Wasserman, his emails to Ghislaine Maxwell have been part of the Epstein files. There are now 6, as we've counted them, 6 political officials in LA or in California who have called for Casey Wasserman's resignation. I'm just curious, how concerned are you about this situation? Thank you.
Thanks. I'll be happy to take that. And A couple things. First of all, we spent a fair amount of time with the IOC on questions like this about LA 28. Casey has also made a statement that reflects the perspective he has on what came to light when the emails were released with the rest of the Epstein file. So, that is out there. We have nothing to add to that. His statement sort of stands on his own. I would say with the question about LA 28, I introduced the LA 28 team. I live in LA myself. I understand the politics of LA quite well. And I would say that I have more confidence today in LA 28's operational capabilities, its leadership, the quality of what it's doing, and how well they've executed than I have at any point in time since I began working with LA 28 at its inception in 2015. They've done exceptionally well commercially, as you know, over the past, really ever since the Paris Games. The Paris Games helped light up the sponsorship interest, and they have taken advantage of it. So that's been a tremendous, superlative success story so far, and they still have more to run there. The operational team has really done a great job. I think you may have heard they now have somewhere between 600 and 650 people working in downtown Los Angeles. So they moved to downtown. They're in the middle of an area right between a number of venues. They'll have 4,000 people by the time the games happen. And they've got extraordinary leadership operationally through General Reynold Hoover, who's done a really, really good job. But the combination of John Slusher on the commercial side and Reynold on the operational side and the team they've built provide me a lot of confidence. And I think the city of Los Angeles and Southern California are very supportive of the games. And Milano Cortina will continue to create excitement around the Olympic experience and then ultimately the Paralympic experience. So my confidence in LA is very high.
Jörg Mebus, ARD German Television. Hi, here I am. Hello. Question for Mr. Sykes. Thank you. In the last couple of months and even years, there has been growing tensions between WADA and US anti-doping. That tension finally leads to a stop of the US WADA funding, which is anchored in a law that President Trump signed yesterday. How concerning are these growing tensions for USOPC?
I think all of us around the Olympic movement are trying to work together to come to a resolution of the dispute between WADA and USADA, and we'll make good progress on that. Without going into any of the details, I personally had breakfast with the leaders of WADA myself 2 days ago here in Milan. I have very good dialogue with them. We understand the disagreements and the issues, which are reasonably straightforward and need to be addressed. I believe they will be addressed. I think the IOC is also very interested in making sure that we resolve these differences. It's important to everyone that we have a solid, good relationship with the World Anti-Doping authorities as we enter the period when we've got 2 games in the United States. And so that is of primary importance, and we'll behave that way.
Great. We'll go to Rachel Axon next. Sorry, let's call on people from here, okay? Thank you.
Rachel Axon from Sports Business Journal. Question for Jean. You've referenced the reassurances that were required during the presentation and in your conversations with the membership. What level of diplomacy are you having to undertake reassuring the international community here? And what is the difficulty in doing that, particularly with a political administration that is fairly unpredictable? Things are changing rapidly, and how does that threaten, I guess, the relationship that the IOC has worked to improve over time with the international community?
So we can't control headlines that are sort of extraneous to the efforts that we have. But the approach we've taken, and it's not just me, it's our entire team, and it's the relationship all of us have with our international counterparts, has been to provide reassurance through our actions. How we behave with all of the people that we interact with from the international movement, how we provide reassurance not by talking to them, but by partnering with them, doing things together, visiting them, having them visit us in the United States. The biggest thing that people are asking about is, Can we come to the United States? Will the visa system be okay? And we've actually invested a tremendous amount of effort in understanding how to use the visa system to optimize the opportunity for international visitors for these high-level competitions and qualification events and training experiences to come to the United States and participate in the efforts that they want to do to prepare for our games in 2028. I think you may be aware that there's a system called Visa Link that's been set up. Our offices in Washington, D.C. are combined with LA 28's offices, and we've all been working really closely with the Department of State. And what we wanted all of our international counterparts to understand is if they come to us, we can help them. Sometimes they'll enter a visa discussion with a visa officer on their own without having come to us first to talk about what's the right way to do it, how do you address questions you might get. So when we interact with them early, things go very, very well. We're getting extraordinarily good support from the U.S. government, and we've got an excellent relationship with the administration.
Great, thank you. We'll go to Rory back here.
Oh, there we are. Sorry. A question from Ms. Deal. You've probably seen in the news also the reaction to Department of Homeland Security having some officers from ICE that are in a consulting capacity here, a small handful of people. I'm just wondering how much more difficult does that make the job of securing these games and future games when you see public backlash to that? And was there any talk of maybe sending those individuals back to the United States?
I just want to be real clear that we do work with Department of State and DSS, and as far as I know, there are no ICE agents that are, well, I could tell you unequivocally, there are no ICE agents that are part of the Team USA delegation on the ground here in Milan, Italy. I am not aware that there are ICE agents here, and I think when it comes to securing major events, a lot of people don't know what are the capacities and the capabilities and the resources that are needed. So there's a lot of misinformation and assumptions that are made, and I think this inaccuracy that ICE is here on the ground securing the games was one of those. So I'm glad we were able to set the record straight and provide on-the-ground truth that ICE is not part of the Team USA delegation.
Thank you.
Let's go over here to Rick in the corner, right here. Thank you.
Thank you. For Sarah and maybe Nicole, Sarah, you mentioned the passion and support that, sorry, Rick Mace with the Washington Post. Sarah, you'd mentioned the passion and support that the Team USA has felt from people back home. I'm curious about what you anticipate on the ground here, and do you guys prepare athletes for potential of anti-American sentiment, either at venues, at the Village, or walk around the city?
Yeah, you know, it's certainly there's widespread support, and our experience has been that more often than not, those spectators who come to watch Olympic competitions or Paralympic competitions for that matter have an incredible amount of respect and appreciation for what athletes have achieved and the performances that they put on the field of play. So I'll say we don't anticipate there to be a lot of negative energy on or around the field of play. That said, we do a ton of what we call games readiness training and preparation with the delegation as we come into the country, and that is widespread across all kinds of preparation for athletes to ensure that they feel comfortable and they're not walking into an environment that's uncertain, and that they know the resources that are available to them when they find themselves in a situation that is uncomfortable, what to do and who to turn to. So the answer is, while I don't anticipate there to be a negative environment, particularly in venues and on the field of play, that tends to be a very, very positive environment, and we anticipate the same to be true here. But we also we want to be prepared and ensure that athletes feel supported in everything they do, and we've done our job to make sure that that's happened.
Great, thank you. We can go right in front of Rick over to Rob.
Hi, Rob Harris from Sky News. I just wanted to ask a technical question, first of all, to you, Nicole, that some people might have been left with the impression that there's nothing to do with ICE here at all. You're just specifically saying they're not to do with the team delegation, but they are believed to be part of the wider US embassy or diplomatic mission here.
I can't speak on behalf of the State Department or the embassy.
And just a broader question, obviously the Olympics is ultimately about the sporting competition. Everyone wants to believe what they can see, and in sporting fairness and integrity. The Katie Ulander story is obviously spread and taken hold. Do you consider your Canadian rivals have been cheating?
I'll comment, and I think, you know, we, as you're likely well aware, we've pursued every pathway to get an assessment and judgment on what happened. And I think both the IBSF, as well as now CAS and the Court of Arbitration for Sport, have made decisions, and we respect the process and the decisions. You saw us incredibly supportive of Katie. We did help look for an additional spot. Those efforts were unsuccessful, and we have to respect the process.
Great, thanks. There was a question here. Are you still hoping to ask a question? Did you want a question? Yeah? Okay.
Jordan Mendoza at USA Today. I'm kind of piggybacking on the questions about just, you know, the outrage about the U.S. government problems going on right now. Has there been any concern from the athletes themselves just about, you know, what to expect here in Milan, whether it's, you know, hostility or anything like that? And have you talked to athletes about, you know, what they can expect from, you know, being in this country?
I'll piggyback on what Sarah said. We do have an extensive games readiness program, so we do prepare athletes for any situation. But till date, athletes have prepared and have worked their butts off to be here, and they're ready to compete. I haven't had any indication that they're worried about their safety or security here.
Thanks. All the way in the back, if you can. Thank you.
Thank you. This might be for Nicole. This is Angelique Martinez from Nexstar Media Group. I'm not sure if you heard about the protest that's expected to happen today around the Duomo with the torch being delivered. Are there any specific plans for safety and security when it comes to that?
I have not heard specifically about that protest, but I am tracking another protest for Saturday. And normally we do put a notice out to the delegation just letting them know where the protests are, so when they're moving about the city, they're aware.
Right here in the front. Duke.
Duke Nguyen with the LA Times. Gene, I wanted to follow up on the visa link thing. I know 2 days ago, whenever that IOC session was, there were some questions about like fans getting visas as well. I know the visa link is to help expedite for athletes and things like that. And I know LA 28 was very excited about the international interest from fans for ticketing. So what kind of reassurances can you give in terms of making sure that fans can come watch these games as well?
There we are. Sorry about that. One of the things I said to the session is we expect tremendous fan interest from all around the world for LA 28. We're going to see something of the same experience this summer during the FIFA World Cup. And so the FIFA World Cup helps us experience how to manage that. And FIFA has also worked very, very closely with the U.S. government to try to manage the inflow of fans from other countries. So we'll see real time how well that goes. It helps us to understand all of it because I think we'll see something that looks like the same experience but on a larger scale. So we know what we've invested in to prepare for it, but we're going to have a real-time experience that we can build on.
Thank you. We can go right here to Carlos. Yep, right here. Thank you.
Thanks. Carlos Groman from Reuters. Just to follow up on that, in the Olympics, we also have hundreds of thousands of families and friends coming along from 206 odd territories. Many of them have restricted travel at the moment in the US, and many of them will not be official delegations or athletes or staff. How will you ensure that these people will come in to watch their families competing, their sons, their daughters competing, or their friends competing? Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question, but this is also something we're very prepared for. As I say, we'll see the same thing in the FIFA World Cup, the same experience in many cases. And I believe that the visa system can be managed so that it gives access to people who want to experience the kind of wonderful international experience of LA 28. And we've heard from the very top of the U.S. government how much we, meaning the United States of America, want to be welcoming. And it's not that we just take them at their word. We've also spent an exceedingly significant amount of time already with the State Department and all of the agencies that are responsible for this. So there's a lot of effort being taken to make sure that this will be an experience that everybody in the world feels they want to come to the United States and they'll be accepted here.
Okay, I think we have time for maybe one or two more. Right here, Katie in the white. Right, no, a little bit forward. There you go, thank you.
Katie McInerney, Boston Globe. Sarah, at the Media Summit in October, you talked extensively about the importance of college athletics. Obviously, looking ahead, LA 2028, summer is even more important than winter when it comes to NCAA stocking the teams up. What's changed since October in terms of your lobbying efforts with this SCORE Act not coming to a vote? And which politicians have you been working with most closely on that?
Yeah, good question, and I'll let Rocky build on this as well. He and I both spend an enormous amount of time in this space, and the one comment I would make is you're seeing in our team and delegation here at the Winter Games, about 40% of our athletes who competed collegiately, interestingly, many of them in sports other than the one they're competing in here at the Games. So the overlap and the interplay between summer and winter, those boundaries are gray at best. But the collegiate system in the United States continues to be critically important to the sport ecosystem, both for Team USA, but frankly, for athletes around the world. And so our lobbying efforts, if anything, are stronger and more important and more assertive than they've been. We feel a real sense of urgency that federal legislation is needed and required. We're spending time on both sides, right? The House and the Senate. In particular, the Senate Commerce Committee has jurisdiction over this, and we're spending a lot of time with both Senator Cruz and Senator Cantwell and their respective committee members to have real conversations about how we bring both sides to the center and try to align on legislation that can actually start to create some stability for the future of this. And I can't stress enough the urgency we feel in that.
Rocky, do you want to follow anything?
Okay.
No? Okay. All right, well, I think we're actually at the top of the hour, so I think we're going to have to end here. They've asked us to be pretty tight with timing, so thanks to you for being here. Thanks to the panelists for their time today. And we'll see you soon. Have a great Games, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.